So, welcome back, everyone, to this evening, this morning, depends on which time zone you are on. So, the first speaker of this session is Brent Picasso, CEO from Autosport Labs, which is also one of our sponsors. So, please welcome CEO of Autosport Labs on stage, and the stage is yours.
Hello, hi, yes. My name is Brent Picasso. I'm CEO of Autosport Labs, and we are here to talk about how we use Kivy with our products. So what do? We create products that collect data from motorsport applications, in other words, race cars, and we collect that data and then we visualize it and live stream it to the cloud, and we use Kivy to handle the application in the car and also viewing the data in the cloud. So a little bit of information about how our system works. We have a hardware product that goes into a race car that collects data across all the sensors of the vehicle. We have the GPS, we have the accelerometer and gyro, we have direct sensor connections like for temperatures and pressures. And then we have the ability to connect to what is called CAN bus, which is a sensor network in vehicles and industrial applications that can read data from engine control units, extended sensor networks such as tire temperature sensors, and so on. So it's like a big data funnel that will record the data, and then it can send the data on to an application for visualization or up to the cloud for analysis, so race teams can use the data in order to go faster and then therefore win races. So the RaceCapture app is based on Kivy, and this application displays, records, and live streams the real-time sensor data. So this is the view that a driver might have on the dashboard in the car, and we have multiple pages, and we have customizable screens for displaying that data. The RaceCapture app has been using Kivy since Kivy 1.9.0, and we are very proud that it runs on all the supported platforms. It runs on Windows, runs on Linux and OS X. So when it's running on the desktop environments, it's used primarily for like setup and configuration and like creating a large dashboard. It also runs on iOS and Android, and that is used for creating an in-car dashboard for the racers while they're actually racing. And then we even support the Raspberry Pi so that people can create a more hardened, dedicated dashboard experience. So yes, we support all of the platforms because we're kind of crazy, but it's also cool. So with the RaceCapture app, and this is a feature we recently introduced, our customers are able to create beautiful dashboards with drag and drop customization. So this dashboard was created by the customer is able to lay out the gauges and arrange them in a way that suits their needs, and then they can even save these dashboards to the cloud so that others can download and reuse, redesign them, and then reshare them again. The RaceCapture app also has really powerful data analysis with video integration. So the video is synchronized with the data within this view. And then we also use the same dashboard technology for overlaying gauges and other visualizations on top of the video, and then the video can be played back. And again, these dashboard and analysis designs can be shared with other users on our system. The RaceCapture app also provides comprehensive setup tools so you can configure all aspects of the system. So if you need to set up a sensor, or you need to configure a connection to an engine control unit for reading all of its data through CAN bus, the RaceCapture app also allows this capability. And we have thousands of installs around the world. And as you can see, all these dashboard installations in vehicles, these are all running Kivy. And people use these, and it's a very reliable system. And it's used in all sorts of racing applications. It's even endurance racing, where customers and racers may race for 8 hours to even 24 hours at a time. And our system supports multiple dashboards. So you can see in this central screenshot, this person has 2 instances of the RaceCapture app, and they're both connected to the box down at the bottom here and below the steering wheel, and that's feeding the real-time data to the system, to the app. Now we have another app called the Podium app, and Podium is imagine, like, let's say you have a fitness tracking app like Strava or Map My Fitness, like for runners or bicyclists. But what we have done is we've created the equivalent of that, but for motorsport enthusiasts. So this is an app that you use on your phone or your laptop or tablet to view live streaming data, or to review data after the fact. So that, let's say if you're the pit crew and you want to view the data on the big screen, or if you have it on your phone while you're watching it next to the racetrack, you can view this data live on the Podium app. And this is the data that is live streamed from the car. So we have some social features, as well as the ability for you to review live data and the data after the fact. So here we're selecting a racetrack, we're selecting an event at a racetrack, and then now we're reviewing the data on the dashboard. And we're showing here some tire temperature data using the sensors that we have created. The tire temperature data will show how hot the tire is across the face of the tire, and then there's also a heat map chart that shows how the tire is being used on different parts of the racetrack. So the Podium map is very powerful for visualizing data live or after the fact, and you can even compare data between racers on different days or weekends. So it's a very powerful system, and we will soon release this into production. The Podium app also runs on a big screen. So here is a view where you can interact with the data. We have different visualizations for sensors and G-forces, and again with the heat map. This is a setup we use when we display at our racetrack for showcasing our products. And now for our Kivy wish list. So since we use this as a core part of our product, some of the really important things for us is the consistent deployment support on all platforms. So like if anything breaks on, let's say, the ability to create an iOS release or an Android release or whatever, we really feel that needs to be like a Sev1 issue for the Kivy team. The consistent support across platforms for popular libraries. So let's say, since our application is very data heavy, if we want to offer a feature, we need to support that feature across all the released platforms. So for example, well, this might have changed recently, but in the past, we were not able to use NumPy because of an iOS issue. And NumPy is very useful for data analytics, so let's say filtering data or computing statistics on the data. So we had to work around that using a different mechanism. But NumPy is a very powerful library for data analysis, and it would be really nice to be able to use that across all the platforms. The other thing too is that since we're a mobile application as well, we want like consistent access to like mobile features like across both iOS and Android. So let's say if there was a mobile specific feature that was available on Android but not iOS, then it would be tough to have that feature and support it in both locations. So an emphasis on that would be really important for us. Another few items we would like on the wish list is better native video support, especially video recording. If that was embedded within Kivy itself, that would be super cool. We feel that the video playback is pretty good as we've been using it, but video recording would be great as well. And then the final thing is we use some of our UIs are fairly complex. We have a lot of widgets on one screen, and it really is like beyond just scrolling on a screen, but we may have some complex user interfaces, and it would be great if KV Lane could load faster, or if there's a way to kind of somehow pre-compile the layout so it loads faster. That would improve the performance on lower powered devices. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and we thank the Kivy team for creating an amazing framework that allows us to quite easily deploy an application across 6 different platforms, which is, for a small team, it's amazing that you have large companies that will only support 1 or 2 platforms. So Kivy has really made this possible for us to write a single code base that works across all of these different platforms. So it really realizes the promise of the framework.
Wow, thank you, Brad. Maybe if you can just slow down the sound, okay?
Okay.
So, okay, nice. Um, so I just asked in the chat if anyone wanted to ask something as a Q&A. And we had a couple of questions. Have you tried streaming live video with additional metadata like machine parameter, speed, etc.?
Yeah, so with the video and data live streaming, we have a mechanism. I will show you a new capability that I didn't even mention, but we have the ability to do video and data live streaming using our the video recording and the dashboard technology, where it can live stream to YouTube using Kivy and a video overlay. So it's similar to what you're discussing, but the ability to do that is an experimental feature of our system. So we have the hardware collecting data, we have a couple of cameras on a streamer encoding box, and then that data is overlaid with the video, and then we have an encoding application that will take that video, that overall view, and then live stream it to YouTube. So that's the closest that we have to what you're talking about.
Yeah. And the
Yeah,
person said, wow. And someone else is asking what was wrong with Buy and with what platform. I think you were referring to the issues that we had with NumPy and iOS.
Yeah, I think I'm going off of memory, but I think when we were trying to compile the tool chain for NumPy, it was it either compiled, but then Apple complained about it, or there was something else going on. I could follow up in Discord. Maybe it's nowadays, but it was at the time we were trying to release a specific analysis feature, and then haven't revisited yet. But that kind of consistent support for libraries would be really helpful across all of the platforms. And I totally understand how big of a challenge that is, especially with native libraries.
Yeah, as I said this morning with Julian, PEP 730 and PEP 738. The first one is for targets iOS, and the second one targets Android. The first one, the one for iOS, has already been accepted, and the second one for Android is still in draft. But with these two PEPs, basically Python is getting officially supported on both iOS and Android. So that means more awareness about mobile platforms from all the software, from all the packages developer, from the major ones like NumPy to the smallest one that only 10 people uses in the world. So yeah, we can do better meanwhile, but this PEP is scheduled for Python 3.13, so it's not that a long time. I think in 1 year we are going to get a lot of super cool new packages that already support iOS from scratch.
That's great. Yeah. So I found a link to live streaming. This was recent. It's a 6-hour race in Peru from one of our customers. And this is Kivy driving the live stream. And this was broadcasted live to YouTube during the race. So the device is in the car overlaying the data on the video. And then we have a separate encoder that is broadcasting that to YouTube. So these are all Kivy widgets. And then these are video embeds. I think, yeah, we're using FFmpeg player. I think I saw a previous question here, but yeah, so these are using all of our gauges, and this is the RaceCapture app that's doing the work. So yeah, we thought this was pretty cool.
Yeah, so super nice. Absolutely. So, no way, yeah, I have some problems, but as Brian showed, still works.
Yeah, works great.
So, thank you, Brent, for the presentation.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
If you want to join us later or see the previous stream, which is going to be available on YouTube.
Okay.
In this morning, me and Julian talked about how and which things need to be changed, and in the next few days we are going to process all the replies we had from the survey. Then we are scheduling everything for the next Kivy version in order to have a path to follow. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We are going into a break. And then we are getting ready for the next speaker.
All right.
So I hope you enjoyed the break, and we are now ready with BadMetrics, who is going to introduce us at one of his projects. So, welcome on the stage, BadMetrics.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so first, this is my dance game. The name is Amazing Dance Star. Now, the first thing I want to show you is 3 videos, and I want to show you that number one, it has post prediction, and number two, that I can drag and drop random videos onto the player, and that it will predict the pose. Now, the thing is, this I'm screen sharing and I'm playing this, so it'll fight. Let me just lower the volume. I'm not sure if I'm sharing my desktop audio, but right now, what I'm doing is I'm taking frames from the video with OpenCV, and my audio provider is actually VLC. So I have 2 providers right now, which is kind of not good. But as you can see, it predicts the pose of the character in the video, I think like 2 seconds before they do it. So if you go 1, 2, post predicted, 1, 2, post predicted. And then I'm gonna. So this is a live test. I'm gonna drag and drop a video onto Kivy, and I'm gonna see if it works. But that's it. So here, I need to like change and update like media pipe and the way it draws. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like white lines on a white background. But you can see it's predicting the pose very well, which is I don't for a fact. I don't think you can do this on Java. I don't think you can do this on C++. Not within the time span I did this, because this is my 3rd revision in 2 years using pure Python. Uh, Learning how media pipe works, learning how Kivy works, and learning how multiprocessing works is not cool. This is not a fun thing. But because I use Kivy, which is in Python, because Python is so easy to learn and easy to use, you can do something crazy like this with a lot of like AI and a lot of the machine learning. And one thing that's good about MediaPipe, actually, if I bring this up, I'm only using my CPU. I'm not using my GPU. Let me go down. Like the GPU, it's not being used. So that's one huge thing. This is why I think if I work on this a little bit more, I can bring this post prediction app for a dance game or for whatever onto Android and iOS sometime in the future. Now I'm gonna drag my 3rd one. I think it's this. Okay, let's see if you work. Okay, and then let's press play. But I need to like fix the. I need to fix like the video provider and everything. Here it's a lot clearer. You can see it's predicting the pose in the future in real time, right? Okay, so now I prove this. So what's the plan? So the plan for this is I'm gonna make an arcade style dance game similar to Beat Saber, Dance Evolution Arcade, and Just Dance. Now, because I'm just one guy, right? And I know that these games have sold millions of copies, I think capturing a fraction of that market is okay, right? And here is, I said before, all I need is a camera. I'm using just MediaPipe. I don't need a Connect, which is $150 or anything else. I just need a USB camera from Amazon, which is what I'm using right now. The camera I'm using is $20. Actually, it's capturing my pose, and my my shoulders are actually in the correct pose sometimes, and you can see like a blue line which says I'm posing correctly. But it's never capturing my legs because I'm just sitting down. Now, what would be the funding? Funding would be similar to OS, where it's free to play and people donate and provide a subscription, but it needs to be good. Why I chose Python is because people say, okay, Python is slow, right? Just go C++, the C variant, use Rust, right? But I will tell you for a fact, I would not be done within 2 years, and I would not have 3 versions. If I was using like C++ and I was using like QtPy, I would still be in the prototype stage, like where I would be 1 year ago, and it would not look this good. It wouldn't even work. I couldn't even present it. So that's one thing that's good about Kivy. Kivy has the technology, and Kivy has access to the Python ecosystem on Windows. Like it's really strong, really powerful, and as you can see, it's very performant. It's very good. And then here's another thing, though, that I have to think is that I have to. Where are you? There's another game which is Dash Dash, Dance Dash. That actually, this is something where I need to go here and I need to compete with these guys basically. right? So, but being by myself, right? You can see I have to pay for artists, I have to pay for this, right? But because I can take on the entire dev process from start to finish, I don't have to pay a dev. I can be the dev and I can just pay for art. And this is a successful Kickstarter. I'm going to launch a Kickstarter sometime in March, right? And so this guy, they've succeeded in basically bringing 30K. Hopefully I can bring even half of that. But that's something I have to think about, something I have to plan within the next like 2-3 months, right? Again, what's the difference between me and Dance Dash? I don't need a VR setup. This just needs a camera. What's stopping me from going on Android and running this on the Android camera? There's also an example. I think it was Robert Flatt. He has like a camera for Kivy, right? That's what my plan is. I'm gonna use this. The real problem, where are you? Somewhere here, he has camera for Kivy. Sometime in the future, all I need to do is get Media Pipe working on Android and iOS. So that's the game as it stands. It's very basic, very alpha, like pre-alpha, but it's something I can show. And now the rest of this talk is going to be a couple of things. Is my experience. Now, number one is processing and Kivy on Windows and Mac. For processing, one of the things that I can say is use C types directly. I think I don't have the link right now, but let me see if I can find it. Python C types multi-process. Where are you? Somewhere here. Like, here's the thing. To do this kind of app, you have to go deep down into the... Where's dictionary? You have to go deep down. You can't use this. You have to use... Where are you? You have to use C type. Okay. C type. Shared C types. You have to use very specifically these shared C type objects. Multiprocessing value, that means you're very locked into basic data types, right? Now, the data types off the top of my head, dictionaries, lists, and arrays. And you need to use this for the speed at which I need to analyze my video. Now, if you notice, I was maxing out my 3.6 gigahertz CPU. The amount of data I'm using, I had it in another video. I'm doing 180 megabytes per, I think, second. I think that's the amount of reading and writing I'm doing just to analyze data on the fly on any random video possible. You cannot, I don't think you can do this using like Java. You have to really be an expert. But using Python, this is my first Python project. It's very good. I think Kivy is very strong. I think you cannot do this kind of project on any other platform. Okay, and then anyways, we use this. Yeah, and another problem is that you need to make sure your data types can be pickled with Python. If you can't pickle it, multiprocessing will just not work. And then don't use the higher level queues because they're too slow. Now, off the top of my head, using these shared C-type objects right now, I'm using dictionaries that have two data types. Number one is, where are you? First, Kivy. Number one is like the position of the character on the frame, which are just like an array that contains like position on the frame. And number two is that it has number two is the frame itself, because this is a bit too technical, but basically I am sending frames from sub-processes into the main Kivy app, and then the main Kivy app blitz that onto a texture canvas. And that takes a while. That's a lot of data. I am really handling a lot of data. So don't use high-level C types, or don't use higher-level Python queues. Just use basic C types. Use dictionary, list, array. Off the top of my head, it takes 5 milliseconds for this kind of procedure that I was using. But if you use the one that's provided by Python, which is like one of these that use like their Cephomore states, it's around 30 milliseconds. This is a problem. Why? One of this is one whole frame, and that's not good. So that's just a very quick multiprocessing thing. Now here's something that I will talk about later, which is like, that's just some technical stuff. Now later is Kivy really needs to interact with Mac and iOS to be a complete thing. Why is that? There's a huge, I'm going to show you why this is a huge problem. Because here, I think, when is this, last year, like December, what was the problem I had? This works. This works on my terminal on this Windows machine. Actually, I bought a Mac just to use it. It works on my Mac. But what's the problem? The problem is distributing this app, right? So what on the Kivy docs, they were recommending to use PyInstaller. So I'm like, okay, let's use PyInstaller. They do not tell you that PyInstaller and the Kivy ecosystem itself is really strange and it's not stable. One example is that for using like, there's a game on Steam. It's called Zomboid, and Zomboid uses a Java virtual machine. What that virtual machine means is that you know where all your things are at, and it will run correctly on like random machines as long as they can run the Java virtual machine. Why is that a problem with Kivy? Because Kivy and Python do not run with the Java virtual machine. They need to use like your actual files on your actual Windows machine, which means that you need to package them correctly. Now, how PyInstaller solves this is that they create a like a maypath. It's sys._maypath, right? This is a like a temp folder in your temp directory, and the location of this is not consistent on Windows, and it is not consistent on Mac. So actually, the first thing to do is to package this app onto your Windows machine, onto your Mac machine. So I got that down. I'm like, yeah, I got it. The post estimation works. Okay, cool. Now my problem was I'm gonna add audio. Who is my audio provider? So it's like, I thought about it a long time. What's a free audio provider that I can use with Python? And it's VLC, right? VLC is free. I don't think they have a license where they'll like sue me for this. So I was like, okay, let's use VLC to play my audio. Okay, what's the problem with that? When I try to use VLC with Python using PyInstaller, just think about this, okay? What is the problem? It works. It works on, so there's three environments you have to think of. The first environment is going to be your terminal, right? So it works on the terminal. That's good. The next one is going to be your actual machine, right? That's good. But what's the problem with your machine? It has VLC. It has all the Python dependencies installed. It has all the, what's it called? For me specifically, that's MediaPipe installed. So most likely it will definitely work on your machine. What is the third environment you have to think of? A machine that has nothing installed, right? Because you want your app to work on someone's machine and it just needs to install no dependencies. Why? Because you've supplied the dependencies already. So what I did was, there's a lot of questions. Number one, how do I do this? Do I buy another Windows machine? Do I buy another Mac machine? Yeah, I can't do that. That's a lot of money, right? So actually, because my machine is strong enough, I use where are you? I use this. I use Oracle VirtualBox to simulate a free machine that is. Oh, so what is this? This is a user machine, right? User machine that has nothing installed. So I use this to simulate a user machine that has nothing installed. So Windows, okay, right? It works. But then what's the problem? Mac. I have not found a virtual machine on Mac. Why? Because where are you? I have a link here. Where is Mac? Where are you? Oh yeah, VirtualBox has dropped support for Mac Silicon. Why is this a problem? Because Mac has two chips now. There's an M1 chip, which is Silicon, and there's an Intel chip, which can run Windows. So I cannot simulate this user machine. And that's a big problem. And it's not a problem with Kivy, but it's a problem when you're trying to have an app that you're going to package and distribute to your users. So what I did was, okay, if that's not going to work, I'm going to just change the names in the applications folder to simulate a Mac that has nothing installed. So that's another very big problem because here's the thing. Let's say I didn't do this. Let's say I had just packaged my app and then uploaded it to Steam, right? Mac users are going to complain. Your app doesn't run. It just turns on and off. Why? Because normally when you make a PyInstaller thing, when you make a PyInstaller thing, your command prompt window will flash on and off. And that's not good because number one, you can't read the text. Number two, it's very strange for the user. Oh my goodness, there's another problem too. that I just remembered. Multi-processing, multiple windows. Those are created with Kivy. Sorry, there's just a lot of problems, and the more I talk about this, the more I remember things that I've done that I've cleared. Anyways, I'm not trying to take too much of your time, but okay, where am I? I'm here. It needs to be a complete thing. Here's the thing. Like just the entire process has multiple steps, multiple problems. Okay, I'm going to clear this very slowly. Number one, what is the sysmay pass? It's the temp folder, right? What does this mean? Again, when you go to your like environments, usually these are okay, but when you go to your user machine, you need to use sysmay pass. What does this mean? It means that all of your relative folder structures, even if you use relative folder structures, they're wrong. They're gone. You have to redo everything. You have to redo everything a second or third time. That's pain and suffering, but you must do it. Nobody told me it's not on Kivy.org. It's on PyInstaller docs. They will tell you this. And this is one big step. This is like, I think, the number one killer of Kivy apps on Windows, Mac. This is number one. Number one killer is this. Your paths don't work. For example, this is a Discord SVG. It will not, if I had packaged it without respecting sysmaypath, this would be a blank screen or blank image. This would be a blank image if it works at all. Most likely, it will just exit and you won't see anything. So that's number one. Sysmaypath, huge killer. Number two, current working directory is different on multiple systems. That's not a problem with Kivy itself. But it's a problem that no one told me. It was not on what's called Kivy.org. I had to find this on my own. So actually, I have another. Let's see on my GitHub. I have another. Where are you? Is it this? No, it's not this. Just 1 second. I have a repo right here. I have a repo. I made this. What's the problem? Problem is when you're distributing to everything, os.get current working directory is not the same. So just think about this. Not only you have to think of your terminal machine user, you have to think of your OS, right? On each OS. So for example, on Windows, what's your current working directory on your terminal? Your terminal will get current working directory. OS.get current working directory on your PyInstaller.exe is the directory that holds your exe. What's executable, your Python X, the PyInstaller.exe, and stuff like it's just a lot of stuff to know, and it's not the same. Why? On Mac, what's current working directory on your terminal? Okay, current working directory. But what's the current working directory as a Unix executable file? It's your user directory, right? And this is a problem. Why? Because when you make a .app bundle on Mac, it's not the same. It's not your user directory. It's the root folder. No one is ever going to tell you this, and you have to learn it on your own. And that's what I'm saying. This is the number one killer. This is the number one killer when you try and develop an app for Windows and Mac. No one will tell you. This is all different. It's all strange. And like, this is something that you have to see for yourself. Because, for example, I would never have thought that I would encounter this problem. Because number one, it's kind of a basic problem. But number two, it's just something that, like, you know, people just say, oh, it works on my terminal. It works on my machine. Of course, it's going to work on your user machine. But it doesn't. And that is something you got to experience on your own. That's why no one actually does this step, to be honest. No one does this step, and then when someone complains, then they fix it. But it's just huge, huge issues, like not with Kivy, because Kivy itself is amazing. Kivy did this. Only Kivy can do this. Only Kivy can do this on Windows and Mac. What the real problem is not Kivy. The real problem is the underlying Python ecosystem itself. Like, it's so vast and strange, and that like it's not a Java virtual machine. You don't know where all your dependencies are, and it's not like, you know, bundled correctly. And like a lot of, like, for example, with NumPy and BLASK, right? Those are like basically they're academics whose their job is just to get it done, and they get their job done very well. But in order to do that, they have to take a lot of shortcuts just to make sure it works onto the correct OS. But because of that, they're not supporting other OSs like easily, safely, or like completely. And that's when like that's and then you get issues like this where you need to understand that temp directory is really important. And it's not on Kivy docs. I wish I had the time. I wish I had the time to write this. I'm writing it on Kivy School just because I don't have to argue with like people on like, oh, how to do this. I can just write it and then leave it as is, because this is basically a blog. Like one example I think of, well, a hurdle that is contributing to Kivy org is, for example, this. I'm advocating to use Piev, and I'm advocating to use poetry, right? These two things are not on Kivy org, but I think these are very, very, very necessary. This is to use the but what's Piev? Piev is used to manage your Python installs. A lot on Kivy org, they assume you install into your machine and you just have one Pyenv. That's it. That's not good, and that's not good for my project. Very specifically, why? Because media pipe needs like 3.8 or higher, and if been using 3.7, I have to go to my basic machine, uninstall 3.7, install 3.8. That's not okay. This is not recommended on Kivy org, and it's for a good reason, because it's not checked, right. It's not tested against, but I think you should recommend this. Another one, props to Hamburguesa. He told me to install poetry. This is like pip, but very strong pip, very good. I understand that people don't like pip. Don't like poetry. They like pip. They like requirements.txt. That's okay too. But I have a lot of projects, and for example, like this media pipe project, right? Like it's just so hard to, how do I say it? Like do dependency management. And before I installed poetry, it's because this is my second year of development. In my first year, I was not using poetry. I was using pip. And half the time I was just messing and fiddling around with dependencies and trying to find the right dependency number that everything works. This is not a Kivy problem. Again, Kivy is great. This is a Python itself problem. This is what everyone else is suffering with Python. So these two are things I think we should support on Kivy.org, but I don't, how do I say, I don't have the time to like ask people. I don't have time to make a PR. I'll just say, okay, I'm gonna get this done in Kivy School, which is a website I'm working on with Hamburguesa or Philippe, and that you just do this, and then it will work on every platform. This is also okay. This is another killer. Actually, another killer. Not using Pyenv, poetry, or like your Kivy usage install. Why? Because like 99% of the things on Discord is I can't install Kivy. I can't get it to work. Please help me. That's one of the problems. And these two, but kind of solve it, kind of not, because then the new question will be Pyenv doesn't work, poetry doesn't work. I can't install Kivy. Please help me. Do we really want that problem? I can't. Like Kivy is so bare bones right now. I can't really ask for them to, support these two, and just keep going. That's another problem. Okay, I'm done. This, this. Yeah, and then Kivy School. What is the big deal? The big deal is this one. So now again, Windows is actually great. Now what is this thing? It's adding VLC to Pine on Mac and Windows. VLC on Windows is great. It worked perfectly fine. What you do is you just add it. You add it to Pyenv. You respect sys._mapath, and then you compile. Okay. The real problem is on Mac. Number one, you can't simulate an empty machine with Mac. So what did I do? I changed the VLC.app on Mac into VLC2.app. Right? And what did that reveal? It revealed a very big problem. The people that are maintaining VLC themselves, they always assume you have VLC installed. Now, when you want to distribute an app, you're not going to ask your user, hey, install VLC and then install my app. I know a lot of people do that, but they're like very big apps. They don't care about it. But I know it's possible for you to ship an app with VLC and not ask someone to download VLC itself. Now, it had a huge change, a lot of things, and this is a very simple problem, because at the end of the day, what is the problem? All you need to do is you need to, where are you? Use PyInstaller, create app, refine. You see, okay. All you need to do is make sure that it loads, module loads these two dilibs, these two, DLLs basically. That is it. Just think about it. What am I asking you to do? I'm asking you to, where are you? ctypes.dll libvlc core. I'm asking you to ctypes.dll libvlc. That's a very simple thing to do. What is not simple is getting it to work again on these machines. It's not very simple to get it on Windows and Mac on your okay, let's go Windows. Windows on your terminal, Windows on your machine, Windows on a user machine, and then Mac on a terminal, Mac on a machine, Mac on a user machine. And you know what? I lied to you because there's one more OS. You need to do it on Linux too, which I have. Philippe tried to do this, and he tried to add a Linux version. It was too hard. Something something is up with VLC because here's the thing: you can run VLC on what's it called? You can run VLC on Linux really easily on Python, but integrating this into Kivy with these things, supporting it all by yourself is not okay. And doing it on Linux is like that's another suffering. Like this entire tutorial took, how do I say it? This entire tutorial like 8 hours across like 3 days. Just this tutorial, because then after that I have to go back to my app and then add playing capabilities on its own. But in order to do this, you have to do a lot of steps, a lot of things on multiple OS just to do a very simple thing. The very simple thing is I want to load these dilibs. That's it. So again, Python's very strong. It's very good, but the ecosystem itself is very fragmented, and it's not Kivy's fault. Again, it's not Kivy's fault. It is a Python issue, inherently a Python issue. Getting to do simple things on multiple OS and multiple target machines. Yeah, and then that's the issues I have experienced on my own. I know that if you guys make your own app, you'll experience your own very unique issues, very strange issues, because this is not a Kivy problem. This was a VLC problem that actually on this to-do list, I need to write a repo. Number one, after this, I have to write a repo on VLC saying, hey, this doesn't work on PyInstaller. This is how to fix it on PyInstaller. Hoping that they will accept this, because honestly, I don't know if they should be respecting this, because this is a VLC like repo. Why should they care about PyInstaller? Right? Maybe I should go to PyInstaller and write like a hook, which is another like 20 hours of things to learn. But anyways, TLDR, there's a lot of things to do. There's a lot of steps to do. But if you do it, you can do it. It will just take a lot of time, and it's not very linear. It's not very consistent. Okay, so that's my experience. Very hard, but you can do it, and you can create miracles like pose estimation on Windows and Mac. Okay, now my proposal. Again, I was talking to this somewhere along the line. I remembered this problem. When you freeze Kivy with PyInstaller, while you're running it, you didn't see it because I had it on before. But while you run it, it will show multiple windows. This is a problem where like I think import like from where are you? Like from Kivy import like Windows, something like this. This automatically generates like SDL window somewhere in the tool chain, somewhere in the setup. It will automatically generate SDL window, even with like, what is it called? If name equals main guard and like multi-processing freeze. This is a big bug. I don't think it's not like a huge priority, but for me it is a huge priority. As a fact, I think I can't fix this because this requires again diving deep down into the inner workings of Kivy, which no user should ever do, only dev should do. But I have to do it just to make it good. This is a big problem. I saw the PR. Anyways, ideally this is fixed because I was talking about it. Now for Kivy itself, what can we do to improve? Number one, I think we need to improve the docs. We need to improve the tutorials. And here's an easy way to do that. I have a proposal where we just maintain a kitchen sink app that's in the style of some Tailwind CSS. Why is this good? Number one, it's just an app, and it's an app that will work on all platforms, right? Win, Mac, iOS, Linux. why would you do this as Kivy org? Because you will see all these problems that I'm talking about and pre-solve them for the users. Like, no, I think honestly, no user should go. No user should go into VLC dot what's it called, VLC lib, and figure out why you need to download these style libs. Like, yeah, you have to do it sometimes, but like VLC is a very popular popular, how do you say it, platform, popular executable. It's probably executable, you know. You need to do this. You've already done this for NumPy. I hope Blosk. I really hope Blosk. And requests and all the other things. The popular ones should just be, you know, easy for users to use. This is why the kitchen sink app would be good, because you will see these problems and you'll fix them, and you'll fix them for your users so that they don't suffer like me. That's good. Another thing is like this kitchen, if you support kitchen sink app, it will have everything. For example, you have a recycle view option. And when you have recycle view option, you have an example for users to look at. So they don't have to like crawl through the docs of Kivy org. Like, where is it? Sometimes with Philippe, where is it? Kivy org. Let's just look at the recycle view, right? This is the best. This is actually a very good recycle view app. There are just some little bugs with it. Like, you read this, these are good examples. No joke, these are good examples. I really like them. The only problem is like there's a lot of these like things that, for example, on React, this code would be hidden. This code is okay. The React code, if this was in React, I will show you what it would look like. It would look like this. You're here. This is what it would look like on React. Like this. This is what it would look like on React. But because it has all this extra stuff, which is not a problem, I understand, like this Python, it's not a problem, but people on React, they'd be, yeah, I love it. But this right here is just things that, like, how do I say it? It's very off-putting for new users, and new users not willing to take the plunge and to go all in on Kivy. So that's a problem. And also just the docs itself, like, I like this example. Let's go down here. You can say, I like this example too. It was good. But then you go up to here. I think like reading documentation is just this rare skill, which is okay. But sometimes there's some questions you have, like, it would be cool maybe to like have like a, not bug report, but like a docs thing where, not a comment section, but something where you can see people's notes on how to like deal with this data. This is new. I haven't seen this before. But anyways, this is a good, like the tech is good. But again, like reading this, you know, like I wish there would be like, number one, a very good example on the top and like some image. I know like flow layout has it. I know, if I remember correctly. Yeah, flow layout, like it does. Even recycle view doesn't have this. At least something like this. You know, that would be really nice, right? But also like this, I wish I had this, plus like the code snippet in the bottom so you could run it. That would be ideal. There is another ideal thing too, I thought with Philippe, which was sometimes online you have like a Python REPL online and you can like run it. So cool, very, very cool idea. I think it would cost like 100K or something. You can have this float layout. You can have this REPL here. You can have a picture up here, and you can have the code down here. And you have a button, how do I say it, like this? Where's paint? Like this. Oof, that's not good. Okay, like this. Like this. And then it will have like this. It will have like a button here. Press play, right? And then it will have the code snippet here, right? That's cool. You copy the code snippet, you run it, and then you will see the Kivy app in real time. Just this example. This change, I know it's intense. I know it's hard, but this simple idea on every widget, I think it would solve like 90% of people's problems with Kivy. 90% of problems with Kivy. I'm not talking about problems with Python itself, because you still have to deal with the ecosystem. So that's another problem. But this problem itself on the docs, this would solve Kivy problems itself. Then they'll just have to deal with Python. We can't fix Python. We're not Python like core devs. We're Kivy devs. This will solve Kivy problems. We could have done it, but there was a problem. There was a problem with, I think, Replit. Is it Replit or something else? But basically, when how do I say it? There is some guy who, just 1 second. Python Kivy shell. I think it's this one. This guy, he has how to correctly set up Kivy in a replit. My dude, there's another problem with Kivy by itself. This is crazy. Like, this is straight up crazy. But like, everyone is like solo grinding and they're not contributing to Kivy. I don't know why that's a thing. And you know what the problem with this? It doesn't work anymore because number one, it's 5 years ago, right? That's a long time. Number two, I think Replit does not it doesn't let you do free repls or something. It doesn't let you do free repls anymore. That's a big problem because you can't integrate it. You gotta like pay. I'll just see if it works. I don't think it works anymore. But this is crazy. If you put this in here with the flow layout, okay, like Kivy, I would be happy. There's no more problems with Kivy. I don't even know if it runs. Yeah. And anyways, it's on the fly. I don't think it's running. But wow, this guy, dude, this guy should have contributed. Like, people who use Kivy are really smart and almost crazy because, like, right? Why don't they just get paid with React? Right? What else? Okay, so there's this, right? What would I want in a kitchen sync app? Recycle view, scroll view, screen manager, lazy screen load. This is a big problem. And this is a big problem with Philippe and his coffee app because he has so many screens that, like, when you load on Android, it takes like 30 seconds to load the app. That's not right. Somehow we need to get people on board with using these two. Just inherently use it. Like, somehow, like, where React, like Expo, they have like the app, they have the app, like, and it already has lazy loading. But that's not because React Expo. That's because they're using like web technologies, and every like web widget like holds for a, how do I say it? It has like two states. There's like a loading state and a loaded state. So inherently, React already has this like lazy loading because it's like a web app widget. Another thing, buttons with different images. That'd be really good. Build those with spec file for iOS, Android documentation. Why would this kitchen sync app be good? You could also PyTest everything. So if our kitchen sync app works, everything else will work. And if they mess up, then it's either something inherent to Python itself, or it will be, something we can fix. This would be super great. This would be great. But I know it's asking for a lot. You're asking for like a full-time dev to work on this, possibly 2 or 3. So this is just a request. This is wish list, right? I can wish for things. Another thing we were talking about was we could spend time to find a grant to get people working on Kivy.org website. I don't know the finances. I don't know anything, but even just getting paid a little bit to like do some PRs, do some commits, I think it would be really good. Right? Just because there's a money issue. Like, there's only 2 people working, which, holy smokes, thank you for working on Kivy so much. Like there was an update on Kivy where it's like an announcement. Every announcement, I'm very scared because sometimes what if it says announcement, I can't work on Kivy anymore. My heart would sink and I would cry for like 2 weeks. So I really want people to work on Kivy. I really, really want people to work on Kivy. It's so strong. It's so good. We just need the community. And we need support. It's support not for me, but for other people to get them up to our speed so they can contribute to Kivy back. So this is another idea, right? Possibly a tech grant. Okay. Yeah, this one, integrate Kivy School to Kivy.org. Why? Because here's very specifically, there is, number one, did you know you can run Kivy on, what's it called? You can run Kivy on VirtualBox. Did you know that? There's you can run, okay, number one, what happens when you run Kivy on VirtualBox? You get this error, right? Minimum G required OpenGL to version 2.0 required. You know how to fix it? You just turn on 3D acceleration. You literally press this button and that's it, and Kivy will run. But 99% of the time, people will try to run Kivy on VirtualBox and they'll get this error. They're like, okay, I don't know how to do it. I don't want to solve it. But you just press this button. You just press this one button and then Kivy will run. Like, that's crazy. Like, Kivy is very strong. Again, as I said before, Kivy is a very strong app. It's just, you can do so much crazy things. You can run it on VirtualBox. You can run it on REPL. You can run it on Mac, iOS, Android, Linux. But like this one button is stopping like 99% of users from running Kivy on VirtualBox. And again, there's a good reason to run a VirtualBox. Not for fun. It's to simulate a target machine with no dependencies installed. There is a real reason to do this. But if you never did this, You would never know if I didn't tell you, oh, just check this box. You would never know to do this. And you would spend like 20 hours looking for this box, right? Like this is some information we need to put on Kivy org, not Kivy school, Kivy org. That's why there's a lot of important info here that like, over like my 2 years, I just like added. Yeah, Kivy strong. Again, you can run on everything. By the way, there's some guy who ran it on Yocto Linux. I don't know if anyone knows about Yocto Linux, but anyways, you can run it everything. Kivy is strong. Do this. And another thing, these buttons are just not good. Like if we just go to Tailwind, right? This is like basically the standard. This is like the standard for like modern websites, right? Look at this. We can do this. Kivy can do this. Kivy can do this, right? Kivy can do this. We can do this in Kivy. We can do this. We can do this, right? But no one did it yet. But we can do this. Kivy can do this. Kivy can do all of this, right? So that's another thing, right? We need to show people that we're good. We're as good as Tailwind, right? Just pick one kitchen sink app will have this. We can do dark mode. Kivy can do this. Kivy, we can do this. We can do this app. Kivy can do it like very strong. Kivy can even do this like if you had this on Kivy org, that would be a good sell. So yeah, pick one theme. Again, I just said this, and then we can pie test everything so everything works. So yeah, that's it. That's my huge long rant. Hopefully, the dance game app itself will work good. I really want to work on Kivy. I want to work with Kivy. It's very good, very powerful. But again, you gotta know like the special techniques and like the random info. And that's it. Thank you very much for your time. Sorry, I thought I would have a 10-minute presentation. I didn't realize I have so much to say. But thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for listening to my ranting.
No worries, no worries. And it was Allison. And meanwhile, had a lot of questions. So let me get back to the chat. So let's start with. Okay, very cool project. I recently tried OpenTrack camera-based head tracker for flight simulator. It also has neural network input. Maybe this could be used here too.
Okay. Wait, I'm confused. What's the question?
It's a question. It's asking. I recently tried OpenTrack camera-based head tracker for flight simulator. It also has a neural network input. Maybe this could be used here too.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. You know why? Because this is not good. Like it's not updated, but I created Fast CV app. You can like watch it. Basically, there's a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of stuff. How do I say it? I'm gonna give you the meat. The meat is the examples, right? The example is, let's say you want to do, okay, let's use media pipe, right? Media pipe, you can just do, is this correct? No, this is the spec file. You don't need to watch this. You can watch this later. Where are you? Okay, let's do media pipe, right? What you can do, this is bad. This is basically dealing with Pi installer being weird. Don't look at this. What you want to do is this right here. If name is equal main, right? So you're only running on the main thread. Import multiprocessing, good, right? You want multiprocessing. Your multiprocessing freeze import, right? What does this mean? It doesn't create an infinite amount of windows, right? Import fast CV app, try this, then as a module, if not, try this. All you need to do is say, apply, this is your applied CV function, apply media pipe. This is your color format. Oh, there's another thing I have to say. Where are you? Okay. There's a problem with Kivy and OpenCV. This is another killer problem. Where's Paint? Paint. This is another problem. Okay, OpenCV. I don't know if the orientation is correct, but there's Kivy goes like this, right? And then OpenCV goes like this, I think. Right? Because it makes sense. Why? Because when you write an array, you go like this. Oh, yeah. Okay. So let's go from something like this. But basically, the orientation might be correct. But when you write an array, how do you write an array? You write like this, right? Then you write like this. Then you write like this. So what's the direction? Direction is going to be like this and like this. But the way Kivy blitzed the frame is like this. Oh, it's like this and like this. And actually, I had to learn it because I was wondering, why are my images like flipped, or why are my images like not like it would blitz correctly, but the channels were wrong and something. That's not good. This is another killer. No one will ever do this. Probably you, but Kivy has a problem blitzing to this. Okay, side thing. Now, why is this important? Why did I bring this up? I'm lost already. There you go. So with fast CVAP, what did I do? I just say, okay, apply this media pipe function. You BGR and you do the size, and then you do this and you do this. Possibly ping me on Discord. I can probably give you an example for your thing, because let's see if I did a video, if the video has it. Just 1 second. Let's go here. Basically, where are you? Okay, so here it is. So on my dance game, I'm actually, you see this? On my dance game, I'm actually not doing pose estimation every frame. I'm actually doing it every like 30 frames, every 60 frames. I don't know if it's playing right now. It's been, are you playing? Okay, it's not playing for too long. Oh yeah, so look, I'm only doing pose estimation every 2 frames, like 1,000, 2,000, 1,000, 2,000. I've been doing it every 120 frames. I'm doing it every 120 frames. But Fast CVApp does it for every frame. Do you see this? Does it for every frame, right? So if you come to me and you ping me later, probably it will take me like 2 days. I can probably like configure Fast CVApp to work with your neural network thing, and then give you like an example of something to think about. But here's not the problem. It's just something to work on. Multiprocessing is going to be a huge problem. You got to be on at least Windows and Mac to do this. And to do this specifically, I didn't do this because already, you can see before it goes, I'm maxing out my CPU. And this is a very good CPU, right? If you're like, I was helping out a guy named Wolves a while back. He was on Yocto Linux. Now, what's Yocto Linux? Yocto Linux is like embedded Linux on like an Android device that's not very powerful. It has like half this gigahertz, and it had a problem playing video. And there's a lot of things that can go wrong with this. Like like ask me, and I'll look at your specifics. But TLDR, there's a lot of problems. Number one, what if your device like is not fast enough? What if it can't do this speed, right? Number two is like, can it run multiprocessing? And number three is like, does it do frame by frame analysis, right? If it's not frame by frame analysis, you'd have to change your approach to this, because most of the CPU time is not really used correctly. A lot of it is just bleeding frames to send to Kivy itself. So you have to think about it, but I think you can use it. And I would, if I were to do it, I'd use this as a starting point. Is this is a starting point? I would pray. I pray hard. The two things that are true. Number one, you can run multiprocessing. Number two, BLOSK is on your target platform. Why is this important? Because BLOSK is how I got it to be real time. Why are people not? Here's the thing. This media pipe. Why are people not doing this already? This is such an easy thing. Just do a dance game, right? Just compare pose. The problem is, if you run Kivy by itself, I need another paint. Okay, so this is like time, right? This is like time. This is, I will say 1 second, right? Now, what's your FPS? Okay, here's the problem. 30 FPS is actually bad for games, but that's my target because this is so hard. This is 30 FPS. So what is 1 divided by 30? So 1 frame is 3 milliseconds, right? So 1 frame is 3 milliseconds, right? For 30 FPS. What does this mean if you're 60 FPS, right? Oh my goodness, I can't. Just 1 second. I'm doing this with a mouse. Sorry. This is 60 FPS, right? So you go 1 divided by 60, right? You have 16 milliseconds. Okay, I'm done. Wait, it's 30 milliseconds. This is 16 milliseconds, right? 16 milliseconds to make 1 frame. Why is BLOSK important? Because reading 1 frame takes, I think, with BLOSK, it's like 17 milliseconds, right? without BLOSK, it takes like 27 milliseconds, I think, right? This is a problem because that means Kivy has 3 milliseconds to do all the Kivy things on its own. But if you have BLOSK, you have 17 plus 3 milliseconds for like Kivy to do its stuff, and then you have like 10 milliseconds free. So you need a lot. You need a lot. You need a lot. You need a lot of things to work. You need a lot, a lot of things to, how do I say it? You need the stars to align. I already showed you how to do it, just like basic with media pipe, and pray that this approach works on your target machine and on the, how is it? And that BLOSK works. And like I think that's my only dependency. Let me check Tommel just 1 second. Okay, I need Python, I need Kivy. Oh, I don't think you need OpenCV. But anyways, it's proven it works. Yeah, that's it. Oh, NumPy works. But NumPy is supported. NumPy is supported by Android and all the things. Everybody supports NumPy. I love NumPy. NumPy is the best. Sorry, that's a very long-winded question and answer. But yeah, that's what you need to do this stuff.
No problem.
Okay.
Now we have someone who was saying you can use Redis to share data between processes.
Wow,
Probably talking about what you said before. Then we have Tito who is saying that Docker OS can be used to run OS in a virtual machine via Docker.
Oh my goodness.
Works for me from Linux. Yeah, this is the thing. Docker OS works, but don't ask me to add that to the documentation because Apple absolutely doesn't like that. It doesn't like it. So unless you already have a Mac or another Apple device, just do the licensing things. So
Okay.
yeah, Docker OS is a thing, but yeah, you can use that, but we are not saying that explicitly in the documentation. Then, yeah. But obviously it's slow.
That's true.
It's pretty wild. When I run PyInstaller to create build, it creates a few Kivy windows very briefly, and it's probably in packages. This made me wonder if it
Yes.
would crash if we're running headless in the cloud or in the GitHub action. Well, actually, if you set up that correctly, is not going to crash because just open a fake window and it's like we are running some of the tests.
Okay.
That's why our reaffirm we need template repo on GitHub, says Felipe. That could package a simple Kivy app to all platforms using GitHub Actions. Otherwise, we say it's all platform, but no one got to the point to actually packaging it to the platforms. Well, since you already have your screen share open, if you go to github.com/Kivy.
Okay.
And then you click on templates or look for templates.
Okay. I'm kind of blind. Where is it?
Wait, I'm going to is Kivy/templates.
Like this and like this, correct? Okay. Ooh.
Okay, so Quanon, so Akshay is creating this repo. Started to create this repo, I think, a few months ago. And so this is gonna be the repository for the templates. Feel free to improve, feel free to make changes. And so via this repository, the aim is to create a full list of templates that can run on GitHub Actions to create your own app. So that's just a start, I know, but if someone helps to improve it, we can have the templates for all the platforms. On some platforms need to be fixed, documentation is missing, but that's just a start. So via these templates, we can make the life easier for our
Yes.
developers.
Yes.
Felipe is saying again, having an official template from Kivy.org will be awesome. That's
Yes.
the example. But again, feel free to improve. We're done to work to package and deploy. The platform page is stable now. PyInstaller is used for Linux, Windows OS X, and Raspberry Pi. Bulldozer for Android, Code for iOS. Meanwhile, I want to ask you. Usually, you talk about PyInstaller and Windows and macOS. Why did you not use the Kivy.app or Kivy SDK packager for macOS?
I didn't. Number one, I didn't know.
Oh,
Let me see. Kivy SDK or
Kivy SDK packager.
packagers. I didn't know. That simple. As simple as that. I would use this. Wait, is this using PyInstaller, correct? Oh, is this older?
Wait, with basically Kivy SDK packager, we just reviewed the documentation with Julian. Is a repository where we host all the tools needed for packaging our dependencies or to help package the Debian packages, and we also host some code to create a Kivy.app. A Kivy.app basically is a macOS app with Python 3, OpenSSL, and all the dependencies that Kivy needs are already packaged into, with also a virtual environment installed into the Kivy.app, which just runs if you have a simple Kivy app. Then you can add all the dependencies you need inside that Kivy app. So, at least for macOS, we have a solution that could be better than using PyInstaller. But yeah, that's not an option, obviously, for Windows. So
I'll try it.
Tried it. We are going to release tomorrow. We are releasing Kivy 2.3.0, and we are also obviously releasing the new prepackaged version of Kivy.app. Yeah, Tito again says, I just discovered KivySchool.com. Crazy that it's outside Kivy.org.
Yes.
So, yeah, as you said previously, we can make it possible. I also had some chat during the live stream with Felipe, and we are going at Kivy.org. We are going to have a full refresh of the Kivy blog, and that could be an option, a way to have some of the content will help you to get Kivy School on Kivy.org, or we can create another third level domain which points to Kivy School. So, because documentation should stay in the documentation, but things like how I can use Kivy with an Oracle VM box, or how can I use VLC in a Kivy app. Well, that doesn't fit into the documentation, but is absolutely fits into a blog post or something like what you are already doing for Kivy School. So feel free to reach out to me, and we can find a way to do that.
Okay.
Well, okay. I think we ended the comments.
Okay.
There are a lot of comments in the chat but talking about how to use specific things, how to create windows, and so
Yeah. I
I'm not
understand.
super related about this topic. So thank you for your talk. I think I'm going now into a break session to find out if there's someone else who want to join us during the live. Otherwise, in a while, we are switching back to the replies from our survey. Because during this morning session, we just seen, I think, half the survey replies, so we can start talking about that. But feel free if you want to talk about something to say hi in the chat, and we can make that possible. So,
Okay.
thank you, BadMetrics,
Yes, thank you.
and I want to hear about Kivy School and Discord.
I will. Don't worry.
Bye!
Okay. Bye. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
So soon we are starting again with something from the news from Kivy 230, but meanwhile, let's take a look at what our community can produce. That's super nice. So. It's me. It's Mirko talking. As I said before, as someone want to look about something, just ping me in Discord, and we'll make that possible. But meanwhile, let's talk about Kivy 230. Kivy 230, the current status of the release plan is the following. So, what is gonna happen tomorrow? Tomorrow we are going to release Kivy 230. It was initially scheduled for today, but obviously today we were here doing this live stream, so it wouldn't be possible. But tomorrow we are releasing Kivy 230, and after Kivy 230 is released, we are going to create. So do not expect anything new in the next weeks, because most of the work will be creating and scheduling issues on a roadmap. Well, not a roadmap that we will follow by day, because yeah, we do that in our spare time, but a schedule, a roadmap of features that we want to be included into Kivy 300. Kivy 300 is an opportunity to remove what we have deprecated in Kivy 1.11 and make cleanup, and also change some things that must only be changed on a major release. Because with a major release, even if we will try to not back up the everything for people already using Kivy, we have the opportunity to remove and break the API. So, what is gonna be included in Kivy 3.0? Well, later we are going back to look at the replies of the survey, but meanwhile, I think that I want to talk about is this proof of concept. Well, on Apple platforms, so iOS, macOS, and possibly also visionOS when the Apple Visor is gonna be released, because I already tested it on the simulator and it works. So we are going to have Kivy apps on Vision OS. On Apple platforms, OpenGL is deprecated, and OpenGL is deprecated since a while. We do not know when Apple removes it, and we do not want to have out Kivy 3XX released and need to change things for getting Kivy work on iOS and macOS in the middle of some fixing an issue, or in the middle of a release, or in the middle of nowhere, when we do not have something already on the schedule. So with Kivy 3.0, OpenGL will stay for macOS and Apple and iOS apps, but we are also going to have Angle. Angle Angle is the endless native graphics layer engine. So the initial goal of Angle was to allow use of all the operating system to run seamlessly WebGL and other OpenGL-esque content. Recently, Angle also implemented the metal backing render. So with the metal backing render, we can get Angle on iOS and macOS, and by using the OpenGL apps on iOS and macOS, by using the metal backing render via Angle. This allow Kivy app to be faster, because yeah, even if there's a layer between metal and your app, I tested it on my machine, I tested it on simulator, and also I've tested a quite long time ago with Metal Angle, which was a fork of Angle maintained by a person that later joined the Google team and is working on Angle. Is faster on your iOS device, even if it's not using OpenGL and even if there's a layer. And also, Angle on iOS and macOS will make possible to leverage the newer OpenGL 3.0 features, and will also make possible to use metal textures into OpenGL. So for example, we can use the Evo framework to render our video, so any video, to render any video, and then get the metal texture, convert it into something that can be used in OpenGL and show it. And it's super fast. So this is one of the major changes I want to make. I already tested it in a proof of concept on my Mac. I'm also creating another project maintained by the Kivy organization, which is Angle Builder. Angle Builder is a dedicated tool designed to streamline the build process for Angle library. So, why? Because building Angle takes a lot of minutes. I think 40 minutes to download, build, download, sync, install all the Google tools, and then build it. So with Angle Builder, the opportunity is to have something to run on the CI/CD pipeline, build our Angle zip files, which that contain the dynamic loadable library or the framework for iOS, and they include the folder and the license. Then, if you're using it in Kivy iOS, you can just download the pre-built libraries via Angle Builder, and you don't have to build it on your machine, because it costs time, 40 minutes, and it costs resources. Resources means disk space, because you have to use 40 gigabytes of this space, and it also get your laptop super hot while building, because it's huge to build Angle. The opportunity that we can see by using Angle with SDL2 Windows in iOS and macOS is also to use Angle on other platforms. We already do that for Windows platforms, and we have a dependency that could be installed separately and uses SDL2. But we can also create the proper setup to have Angle on Android and to make use of Vulkan renderer when possible. And also to make possible to use a specific OpenGL version on all the devices. The same will also happen on Linux. So by using Angle, we can have a state of the art which is pretty the same on all the platforms. So that's one of the main things that I really want to work on. Then another thing, a lot of people said on the survey, hey, we need to get the text input work properly on Android and iOS. Well, another thing that needs Kivy 300, why needs Kivy 300? Need Kivy 300 because we need to back some things, is the text input provider. Text input provider will make possible to use the native text input to process all the text, insertion, deletion, and edit. And by using the native text input provider, will make possible to have auto suggestions and also to support all these languages like Korean, for example, that need absolutely to have an EMA. So this is an example of both Android and iOS apps running this proof of concept of the text input provider. And as you might see, both of the implementations have the auto suggestions enabled, and both the implementation can change part of the text even if you already written it. So if you're writing, I want to support, and the auto suggestion say, hey, not support, I want to support you, or I want to not support. If you click on the auto suggestion which say not support, we can change the text live. So yeah, Felipe, text input is super buggy, multiple different Android phones, random keyboard bugs. With the text input core provider, we are going to solve that. So we can use Swift keyboards. We can use auto suggestion. We can also use auto completion. Auto completion, for example, if you have on your device stored the details of your credit cards, or if you have stored the details of your emails, by using a filter on what kind of the input is, basically the keyboard know which kind of input is and can suggest and make auto completion of forms. So this is quite huge to process, will take a while, but we will have that. Why is that needed? Because the window provider, as the Untitled case, does not have, and is probably not required to, all the events and methods to assess the complete feature set. So we are going to implement it into Kivy by ourselves. Yeah, so the current implementation does not allow us to handle autofills, and this could be possible instead. Oh, this brings up a lot of hope how far we are from that new provider. Well, releasing Kivy 2.0, which will happen tomorrow, writing all the issues and scheduling things, and then starting to back things. Already works on both Android and iOS, but I was thinking about having it also for desktop platforms. Why? Desktop platforms does not have soft keyboards. Well, the same feature sets, for example, on macOS is quite similar. So if you want to use the auto suggestion on macOS keyboard, or if you want to use Korean, for example, or Japanese, all these languages that if you do not have a specific keyboards, absolutely need the IMA, well, it's needed. So why not having it by default? Because maybe we need to break things another time. So let's take a pause about that. But I think at least on Android and iOS we are quite near. I need to clean up things, remove my patches that make possible to run it on Truth Phase 0. But I think we can have that before summer. Before summer, we can have that. So these two are the two major changes that I scheduled, but we also have all the things that you have suggested on the survey. So I will take a super small break just to change the setup, and then we are going to look at the surveys. So, back with the live stream. I see a question from Felipe. Do you know if it's possible to compile Pydantic code to Android? The current version 2.14.5 is made in Rust. Yeah, I know. But they provided multiple Python wheels like CP10 plus minlinks plus R64. Well, I think that someone already tried it. I already tried to build Rust packages for Android and also for iOS. So, but I don't know the current state, but should be possible by making the proper changes to Python 400 and KivyOS, obviously. Goes Rust, I think Shortman showed it to me because it started to be a Rust fun. The Rust build toolchain have targets to Android and iOS, so that could be possible somehow, but we need to test it. If you have some time, we are happy. Another question: creating recipes seem nowadays like a strange magic. Yes. I haven't even seen someone that actually knows how to create them, and there's not anyone on the internet explaining the thought process of creating a new recipe from scratch. I will allow some input on this. Well, it's a quite long question. Some of the code is actually black magic. Because, first of all, you can't write a recipe unless it's something super easy to just copy paste from another one if you don't know the basics of cross compiling. After you know the basics of cross compiling, you likely start to know that cross compiling is hard. And a part of saying, well, take your package, you need this package, then use a recipe that looks pretty similar. We have, for example, classes for Cython packages. We have classes for C++ packages, etc., etc. When you have the proper one, or you don't have find any proper recipe class, so you have to use the basic recipe class, try to run it. Try to compile it. It will obviously fail. Look at what failed. So it looks like it's using the host system compiler. Yes. So maybe you should look on which things need to be changed to have the build process use the correct toolchain. Then if it breaks, maybe you need to patch something. To patch something, you have to dig into the code. So you have to look at the code of the package. So by looking at the code of the package, you see, hey, as an example, yesterday, I think, or 2-3 days before, someone pinged me on Discord and said, hey, I can't use this method on sockets. Well, what I did, I copied this method, I moved to github.com/cpython. I pasted it, I clicked enter, and then I've seen that this method uses our libc function. So I look at Python if add this libc function into the configure, because configure can show you all the methods that are checked, if where the availability is checked. So we're using a function that wasn't, and it's marking as not available on Android. I copied this function. I'm going to see the headers of Android, and inside the headers of Android there was this function and available on API major than 24. So, as an example, in that case, the user had to set the minimum API to 24, and then by running the build again, just add access to this method. So creating recipes or fixing compilation things is just looking at the code of your package. Try to learn something from the code of your package. Fix the package if needed by using a patch or by submitting something to their upstream. And then finally getting it built. So yeah, it's not black magic, but it's something that changes between packages. So yeah, we can just say, hey, these are the steps you can follow, but it's not something that where we can really create some documentation, because you need some knowledge, you need some days, you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 days to work on it. You have likely some time to find out a way to build that package without using a part of it, because maybe that part only works on Windows, only works on Linux, etc., etc. So yeah, again, it's not black magic, but you have to read at the code and make some tests. There's nothing written. I hope that's enough. Are there plans to integrate web browser and PDF viewer in the future? Thanks for your efforts, give it great protection. Well, we talked about that this morning with Julian. Web browser is kind of possible on all the platforms, but with some limitations. Some limitations include, as an example, on macOS and iOS, you have to show the browser on top of your Kivy app. You can control it by using some JavaScript code, some Python code. You can control the position, you can control the size. You can also make possible to interact from the browser to the Kivy app, from the Kivy app to the browser via some JavaScript code. But it should stay on the top layer. So no Kivy widgets on top of the browser, and no images on top of the Kivy, on top of the browser. So the browser should stay on top. So anything into the Kivy app should be outside. Yeah, the stream will be available on YouTube. Yeah, Felipe. Unfortunately, that's all the things I could actually say about writing recipes. The PDF viewer, I think it could be implemented via web tech, or maybe we can look at something to parse PDF files and have some images out of that, I think. So if we can parse the PDFs as some images, then we can easily have a PDF browser. So, but maybe this could be done into a Kivy Garden package. So that's an idea for the community. That maybe you can take the PDF, convert it to images, and then show it. Yeah, luckily not the best version, so it's not possible to click on links or select text, but that's a chance. Otherwise, it's going to be something quite hard, but doable. Because, yeah, it's just reading the PDF and sorting out how to lay out it. We can probably take advantage of some libraries. So, I will keep an eye on the chat. I think we are getting a 30 minutes time for the survey. Then if no one else shows up in the Discord, we are likely stopping the live because well, I'm quite tired and going live until 10 p.m. Wasn't something scheduled for myself and I. So let's talk about the survey. I think that this morning with Julian we stopped here around reply number 60. So let's continue the process. For who was not here this morning, we had a quite wide distributions on how many years we were using Kivy, a quite wide distribution on what you use Kivy for, and also a quite wide distribution on how your team is composed. So you're alone, you're a freelancer, team of 1, 30 people, team of 11, 30 people. We're seeing that people are releasing Kivy apps for all the platforms, but majorly Android and Windows. Yeah, that's iOS and macOS something are tricky. It costs too much to develop on Apple and macOS because you have to buy the hardware, you have to buy the license. So that makes sense because we're seeing that most of people that are not deploying on macOS and iOS are basically doing the apps during the free time. So when we see someone releasing for macOS and iOS, they are businesses or big projects. And almost all the types of apps people build with Kivy, and almost all the features I used. And also, I was impressed to see that people are using almost all the Kivy widgets. Even the Emacs behavior. If you are here and using the Emacs behavior, say hi. Yeah, so let's see question by question, or reply by reply, what people are asking. Drag and drop UI generation is your ability to create checkboxes or drop-downs from a list. Structure checkboxes and checklists so they can be iterated over to check state or trigger behavior. make it easier to create the UI. So drag and drop UI generation, you mean designer. A lot of people are asking for a designer. I'm sad to say this is not getting into the next milestone because it's just another kind of project. It's not Kivy, it's a designer for Kivy. Designer for Kivy is something people are asking, but it's a huge process product, and also have a lot of issues and a lot of limitations for users. We already had in past Kivy UI designer, but that wasn't complete. It was quite buggy, and people still needed to write code. And I think that people will always need to write code. We can help them, maybe by making an integration with Figma or DocBXD to create the basics. But then you will likely need to write code. So if you want to work on an editor, you're free to do so, and we can host the project, but it's not something that we can start with the current human resources. Okay, so I think from the chat, I think we can completely remove need for compiling recipes on user machine. Instead, ship pre-built files for every recipe, like the package manager, apt, or pacman does. This will just leave the gradual build process to user machine, and also will help in decreasing chances of errors that people face while compiling. Well, by creating the angle builder, a part of the thinking was to make it easier and less dramatic for people to build things. We can also start hosting some prepackaged PPLs for iOS and Android. Maybe PEP 730 and PEP 738 will help us. So yeah, that's an option, but we should keep the possibility for users to build from scratch, because it's not like PyP where the maintainer of a specific project is releasing the package, but is something that we maintain, and we are not the package maintainer of NumPy, for example. So maybe people doesn't trust us for that package and doesn't trust the process. PyPy instead is super trustful resource. So for some people, mainly targeting business grade apps, they like more to build things from scratch. But we can maintain both. So both the prepackaged will, you can just bulldozer, for example, can just download and install it. Or if you selected to build it on your own, can just build it on your machine. So yeah, that's a chance, but we should maintain both. Then, needs similar workflow to React Native with the way. Oh, but this one we already looked at it with Julian, so we likely go to the next one. Frankly, I don't really think about it will be helpful for beginners if you guys make it docs a little bit user friendly for beginners. We're just starting Kivy, and one more thing, how to publish Kivy apps with Python. Please make a section for this also in docs with visual appearance. We talked previously about guides and examples and samples by Kivy School. And again, this is something we can work on, and we can have a section on the website just for this kind of things. So, can we get some pre-built samples of application in Kivy examples? Yeah, that could be possible. I'm just reading it down, but later me and Julian, we are processing all these inputs and creating the issues on GitHub for what is needed without duplication. So APK size on Android could be smaller. Find a way to reduce the file size on Android. Yeah, could be smaller, but it's not that huge. We can make it smaller by removing default images for the widgets, by using known images to create our UI appearance. So yeah, we can make it smaller, but consider when you are creating an APK that you are including two different architectures. But then later, when the APK is downloaded from the Google servers on your device, they are downloading only the part for your architecture. So it's off this size. Then find a way to reduce this file size in Android again. Also, this one we already did with Julian. Implementing click-through testing using patched version of Selenium. Something like this would be great in the Quarter framework. We had something in past about that. Well, maintain release manpower. If you want to talk about something specifically, please reach out into the chat, and I'm keeping an eye on it. Homogeneity between Linux and Android versions. Increase homogeneity between Linux and Android version. Probably the code shared between Linux and Android. Well, most of the code is shared already in Kivy. But yeah, if you need to access something with the Android specific APIs, couldn't be the same as Linux, but Plier can help with that. Implement PDF reader, access emoji as input, introduce the Kivy Studio so that people can drag and drop interfaces. Yeah. Introduce customizable icons. The video widgets should be able to do whatever video player widget is doing, as showing the controls. I will be happy if the black screen should not be there on startup. Okay, got it. Maybe the best idea is to have video widget and then the video controls, which are separate without having a video player. So by having the video and the video control, the video can attach to the video controls, and video controls can send inputs to the video. By that way, we do not have to maintain a video player widget, but instead we are maintaining two different kind of widgets that can help you to create your own version of the video controls and your own version of the video layout, but by keeping them separate. More advanced work with sound, for example 3D sound. We need to check if our providers make that possible, otherwise we need to find another kind of provider. feel free to say, hey, I have this provider that provides 3D sound and can help us to make that possible. And widget mouse over events. I think we already have. Ability to change file chooser design modality. But the idea is to remove all this kind of design, make it quite flat so you can change it quite simply. Then we have, what do you feel is missing? Drag and drop. We have some drag and drop behaviors, I think. From the chat. Player is making it easy for us to dev for Android, but when it comes intents and activities and also flags and this stuff, we mostly go for PyGenius and not really Pythonic, and we totally lack examples. Yep. I think we were talking about this this morning, and difficult with Blogger is to create a consistent API that works on all the platforms, because Android has its own kind of things, iOS have another set of things, and sometimes we can create an API, for example, for intents, because works basically different, and you have to think in another kind of way. So the decision here is to insert platforms, all platform specific, so for example only for Android features in Player, or to just add examples, because the Android API changes quite fast, so maintaining all these changes in Player could be cumbersome. So working on examples into a separate section, which is not into documentation, but on the examples website, like the Kivy School example, is likely the best idea. So the best resource to write this kind of examples is the community. If you are getting something accomplished with PyGenius and PyObjects, please create a blog post. Then we will find a way to publish it. But we will start to work on the Kivy blog soon. And we also have improved the frequent answered questions. So we can link, for example, how I can use intents and activities in Kivy. Well, look at that blog post. And we are showing how to do that. Because yeah, Player can fix some things, but could not have everything. Otherwise, we are rewriting our version of the Android APIs. Okay. Meanwhile, sometimes I look at the score chart. What do you feel is missing, Kivy? Score view performance. And what do you feel we can improve? Score view performance. So, yeah, score view performance can be improved. Sometimes it's likely better to use recycle view, unless you are doing something where you need recycle view, where you need score view, because recycle view fix performance in certain situations. Yeah, not using recycle view. When we are getting another live stream like this again, well, let's stop. What I wanted to create is a set of sessions, let's say one every 1-2 months, like the local Python meetups, where someone from the community jumps in on the stage and present his or her project with a 30 minutes time frame, 60-minute time frames. And then once in a year, having a online only Kivy conference where all the speakers that look at every month at the KivySessions can join, or everyone else by making a call for proposals can join the talks. We can go live 12 hours or 24 hours if we found someone to replace me to push the buttons on Twitch on different time zones. So to everyone who is here, if you have something to present, even if you already presented it today, feel free to reach out. We can make KivySessions possible with 10, 15 speakers. Then we can have a Kivy conference, an online conference streamed on twitch.com, twitch.tv. So Felipe, please help with creating some content. Has anyone mentioned other issues with scroll view? I have handles problems with widgets that need more than just simple click inside a scroll view, like other scroll view or sliders. This is a long time issue. I think that I got fixed in one of my apps, but was super specific to this implementation. But we can also here create some examples, because this issue could be fixed by examples actually, or by making some changes to scroll view and inputs, and how we handle this slide. So yeah, we likely have something like that inside the replies from the survey. But please, if you still have the link for this survey, send it to us, so we can make sure it gets included into the post-processing that we are doing, me and Julian, because I remind about something similar to your use case here in the replies, but maybe just my mind that starting creating things. Shot in the dark. This might be because the click isn't handled correctly. I had specifically passed the click even to the current child widget from the parent widget manually. It was annoying strange. You mean inside the scroll view? You mean it's an issue of the scroll view, or an implementation issue of tagging? Then, what do you feel is missing, Kivy? Speech to text. Okay, but with the soft keyboard or something included into Kivy itself, because with soft keyboards and the text input core provider, we are going to have it. Then fast view per pictures in scroll view, more friendly loading Kivis on the end of program with threads. Scroll view doesn't allow me to resize each widget individually, only the whole one. Well, okay, but that's included in docs. So you have to resize the main one if you're using the sides ends, and then everything else gets resized, unless you're using sides without using sides ends. What do you feel is missing? A reliable build system. As said multiple times, perhaps 730 and perhaps 738 likely will fix it. What do you feel we can improve in Kivy? API documentation with better versioning. Yeah. I'm waiting for a change on a specific template for a TM for Sphinx, because at the moment doesn't have versioning. So we need versioning in our documentation. We already have it, but with a better template for it, we can show that in a better way. Widget animation. Tricks are required today to animate some property, and no solution really works well within Kivy. And better support for cost compilation out of the box. Okay. Tricks are required today to animate some property, and no solution really works well within Kivy. Please say which property, because the ones I usually animate on all works quite good. So feel free to open as an issue on GitHub about this one. Oh no, this is not happening. No worries. No worries. Performance, more tutorials and tips. Absolutely, more tutorials and tips. No, this is not happening. Also, native shared dialogues, open file, save file on desktop. An easy way for theming. As said this morning, we are leaving theming to Kivy Garden. So the idea is to get the next Kivy version to be as flat as possible, so you can theme it with additional things in Kivy Garden or via KivyMD. But by making it easier without replacing images. What do you feel is missing? Emojis? Well, we have emojis in text input in 230. Sorry, not in text input. In labels in 230 by default on all the platforms. Text input, emojis in text input will be possible in Kivy 300 because we need to back an API. The PR is already here on my desktop, but by talking with the PR author, we decided to move it to Kivy 300 because we need to back the API. What do you feel we can improve? Font manager that displays system font, emoji support the label and text input. Another idea that is quite redundant here is to use the default font or have a fallback for emojis. And I'm happy to announce there is gonna be a thing in Kivy 300, whatever it costs, because we can rely on, because this is also something super needed when rendering mixed Arabic and non-Arabic text. So when you're writing, for example, something in Arabic and then in the middle of it you have Latin characters, we need to use font fallback. And that's basically the same we need for having emoji fallback. So yeah, this is gonna be included, of course. Do not expect a release of Kivy 300 in a month or two, but maybe in a year, because some of the work is gonna take a lot of time. The same one. What do you feel is missing? A performant video player, performance for large widget number. Performant video player, we can make that possible via Angle on iOS and macOS, and possibly also on Android, but not via Angle, because the opportunity is to use the native video player by integrating the output from the textures into Kivy. So you will not need anymore to include FFPI player or anything else on at least mobile apps, because by using the native player that supports most of the formats, we can have a performant one and keeps your app size small. Performance for large widget numbers. That's the point. Different skins for widgets, so themes, yeah, as said before, same way. What is still missing? Transparent windows. As the LG3, we are getting it for free. So probably Kivy300 will use SDL3 instead of SDL2. So this is likely be possible without even spending a minute on the feature. Browser support, we already talked about that before. More modern UI widgets and multi-window support for desktop apps. Multi-window is possible by creating two different processes, but yeah, then you have to move data between them. Not sure it's gonna land Kivy300 because need a lot of rewriting, but we can make some examples on how to do that without having multi-window support by default. Quality content for maintainers on how to do stuff with Kivy, for example, compiling Kivy app with Python for Android. Maybe a week we can have a live stream on that only, and then we can publish it on YouTube. So far, for communicating data between Python services that needs to stay connected to some server and the Kivy app, I've been using local database checks on resume, and while running, is there gonna be a more generalized solution? You can better write it down in your question. Felipe, we could have a Kivy Discord channel called Kivy Jobs, in which people looking for Kivy developers could post their jobs. I think we need to ask to someone who is a super expert of legal things, if we can do that, because I'm not sure. Yeah, I know that some Python communities around the world, local communities have this kind of channel, but I'm not sure we can do that legally, but we can ask to someone. Meanwhile, as we are here, if you want to work on a Kivy project for a startup, might be a chance for you. So feel free to ping me. I'm not the startup, but someone from the chat reached out to me saying, "Hey, I need someone to develop Kivy apps." I can't. So if you are super skilled in Kivy and want to work on a startup project, maybe I can share your contacts with them. Then opening a browser, no. I have difficulty opening the browser inside Kivy, and it is a payment system that provides a secret channel for receiving information. I need this, but there are difficulties. The code that I find on the internet does not allow me to install PyCharm from Android or enable import random UI thread inside from Genius Autoclass Cast to Java class Java method. Their error code. So I'm not opening it right now, but I think the issue here is that you can't import this one on your developer machine. Well, maybe that's an improvement. The improvement is to check if we are really on Android and not around that, but by adding Android to Kivy into the Kivy project and not separately. So Kivy.android, and if .android is called, if we are trying to import something from Android, but which is not on Android, then just avoid to import it, because yeah, obviously random UI thread is not going to be available on Android. Sorry, on Linux and Windows. I'm getting. So yeah, you have two chances. Adding an if platform, not Android. Don't do that, because random UI thread, you can use that on Windows or Linux or whatever else than Android. So that could be an option. Otherwise, we need to make some changes. What do you feel missing, Kivy? Marketing. Yeah, we need to market it better and improve the deployment speed on Android. Expose all the Android-related project files to Bulldozer. If possible, expose the Android project file itself. Someone have some PRs open for it for both Python for Android and Bulldozer. Hope I have time to check it back later. Hi Dexter. How will the results of this survey will be processed? Will the answer that will serve as the basis for the Kivy to be summarized in the roadmap? Yeah, we said that previously. Later, I will share the results to Julian, who is going to help me to create some issues by summarizing all the things that people say here in the survey, and then later process it into a roadmap. So all the replies we had, we are creating issues from the ones from all the major issues. Then we are deciding if these issues can be tracked down into the 3.00 milestone or into the 3.10 milestone, or just leave it unpinned and do not set a milestone for it. But I can assure you all the things within that, if are related to Kivy, and so Kivy/Kivy project on GitHub, we are creating an issue for it. We're summarizing and merging all the variants into single issue if needed, but everything is gonna be inserted as an issue. So yeah, and then summarized into roadmap directly on GitHub by using the roadmap feature on GitHub. Other kind of issues which are not super related to Kivy/Kivy are going to be added into a separate file, and then we will decide where to move these features, because I see a lot of possible issues which are related to part of Reddit or Bulldozer on KivyOS, or just ideas like the marketing. Yeah, it's an idea. Should be a Kivy community Kanban project to deal with the wiki, docs, Discord, etc. Well, we have this one. We have this project, which is the Kivy control tower. Needs to be improved, but we can also, as an example here for Kivy 230, we had this timeline and this roadmap. We can do something like that, because basically is under the Kivy organization, but not related to any specific repo. So we can create a new one and then add other things which are not super related to Kivy. Kivy 300 roadmap is basically shown here. It's gonna be shown here, and then we are obviously sharing it on Discord and everything else. So you can keep it. You can track it down what is gonna be done and what you can do. For example, also if you see there's an issue and doesn't have anyone seeing it, you can decide, hey, I want to work on these features, or I want to work on this docs improvement. So we can know that you are working on it. We don't duplicate work. So by creating a roadmap, the opportunity is also to onboard new contributors, because they know what we need. Sometimes PRs just get in the middle of nowhere, because time is always not enough, and maybe we are prioritizing some things because it's needed for the next release. And by using a roadmap, we can make sure that people know what we want, what we need. And instead of working on something which is not scheduled, they can start working on something which is scheduled and on something that the community needs and is asking for it. Well, I think that I'm going for another 5 minutes, then I'm stopping it, because otherwise it's only me talking about what we have to process later. And then Autosport Labs is still not a first-class citizen. Please integrate it to main or garden. Whenever it's present is obsolete. One guy is developing in Discord. Give him support and match his code. Well, we asked him, I think, to move it to Kivy Garden, but well, sometimes the community just want to work on their product and have it separate. But please don't be scared. If you want something to be included in Kivy Garden, just ask. We can do that. Someone, by the way, is working on Matplotlib flower in Kivy Garden. We are moving it from the legacy to the new format, and we are likely near to a release. They may need to make some changes. Build and packaging distribution, that garden flower way plugins. Okay. More intuitive connection between Python and Kivy code, more frequent release of bug patches, stability and more focus on okay, you heard it correctly. So, more frequent release of bug patches. The issue is that we can't work at the moment on the next feature release, which is obviously broken, and on bug fixes. Because that means working on two separate branches concurrently without breaking anything on the stable one. If we reach that kind of stability, I'm going to be super happy to maintain two different branches. But at the moment, I remember Manin Python library. The community created an event like a documentation championship. People will need to create example code, images, and video for different sections of the documentation. I remember in one weekend hundreds of PR appeared and the docs became super beautiful. This kind of thing could be super useful to engage the community. Like Kivy.org being one of the organizing community participating. The Kivy docs could become full examples. Well, yeah, that could be a possibility during the conference that I previously talked about. So we can have maybe the first day of conference where people talking about their products, and the second day of conference where we are hosting an hackathon, a live hackathon where I'm just live streaming like that, clicking on buttons and merging things about the documentation, which is super fast to review. I just have to read things and say, oh yeah, that looks nice or not, and check if it's really something meaningful. Because yeah, code you need to make your checks, test it on multiple devices. So hackathons on code could be hard, but hackathons on docs are something super doable. And we can also have some prizes. For example, some nice Kivy t-shirts. I have a lot of them. So why not? Is there gonna be modification to Kivy map view? Sometimes the touch interaction are annoying, and we always have to go through canvas to draw the line arrows like in Java and JS. I never used the map view because I never needed an app with map view, so I don't know what you are talking about, which are the possible issues. I don't know if someone already opened something like that. Let's see. Oh, it's a key card. Oh, 41 issues. Julian, we need some help here. The first glance, I don't see anything like what you are saying. So please, if there's not yet an issue open, please fill an issue and show it up. Post examples and anything else. But as we say here or somewhere else, Kivy Garden is managed by us, by the Kivy organization, but every package, every widget have its own maintainer. So I don't know who was the main maintainer of map view here. see. Well, I think that Andre was the main maintainer here, or just did a lot of work on it. So, yeah, maybe we need a new hero. If you want to be a new hero for map view, and you're super expert map view or you use map view a lot, yeah, we are happy to have someone new on board. So, 2 replies more, then I'm stopping the live. And see you again in the next one. Again, if you have something to present, reach out and we can create and schedule a Kivy session when you want. If you are on a specific time zone, we can do that possible. So even if you are looking at these live later on YouTube, we can make that possible. Oh, a lot. A few words about the graphical component framework, mainly including myself. I did looking. Oh, I know who he is, because we already talked about that. So basically, it's saying, hey, we have WGPU, but it's not ready at the moment. So we can look forward for it. But meanwhile, we can use Angle. And as I said before, Angle is going to be a thing. Then it's suggesting to add this GL get pros function, so people can access to OpenGL functions without any changes. That could be possible. It's quite easy. Add a select table in label widgets, so the label which can be selectable when we talk about that. Guest system fonts are turned the list of center system fonts, and we talked about that before. And add something platform is Windows 7 or higher. Maybe we can have a separate tool, separate repo for that, or maybe already exists something like that outside of the Kivy organization. We can check that. Declare the X11 window provides deprecated. I want to do that. And graphics mesh, remove the limitation of these indices. Already necessary? I don't know, we need to check. Tessellator is deprecated. Does anyone use it? We can check that via these replies. And try another, adding your solution to the development or multi-application, for example, the another thread decorator. Makes sense. And these are my suggestions, maybe mistaken. Open discussion. Yeah, we already had a discussion on that. So another one, and then stop. Compiler and requesting permissions on Android. Well, all the other replies that meanwhile, as we talked about that, are increasing. Because this morning we're only 11, only 100, and then we have 109 replies. So we are going to work on that, me and Julian, during the next few weeks, and then we are going to post the results into the roadmap. So thank you everyone for being here all these 3 hours, and see you again in the next live.